Good evening, hello and welcome to Brass Tacks. I'm Anusha Soni. The fourth day of the budget session was a washout in Parliament, with the Congress and the BJP engaged in a bitter war of political narrative. Well, as you know, BJP wants Rahul Gandhi to apologise because he allegedly disrespected Indian democracy abroad and also sought foreign intervention in India's domestic affairs. Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party maintains that this is a diversionary tactic. Rahul Gandhi, while addressing a press conference, said that he wants to make a statement on the floor of the House and he should be allowed to do so. The biggest casualty is the parliamentary business. Key bills which are pending and the precious time of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha lost to political stunts. That's our focus on Brass Tacks tonight. First up, a special report.
4 ministers have raised allegations against me in Parliament House. It is my right to be allowed to speak on the floor of the House. This story started the day I gave my speech in Parliament about Mr. Adani.
आज उन्होंने प्रेस में ऐसी कोई बात नहीं की कि उन्हें खेद है जो उनके द्वारा कहा गया। बीजेपी का स्पष्ट आरोप है, राहुल गांधी को माफी मांगना चाहिए।
The battle lines for 2024 are drawn.
कांग्रेस पार्टी को राहुल गांधी ने डुबा दिया, बर्बाद कर दिया, तो हमारे लिए ये कोई रुचि का विषय नहीं है। लेकिन अगर वो देश को डुबाने का काम करेगा, देश को नुकसान कराने का काम करेगा, तो इस देश का नागरिक होने के नाते हम चुपचाप नहीं बैठ सकते।
हमारा एक ही मकसद है कि पार्लियामेंट में ये अदानी के मसले पे चर्चा हो। गवर्नमेंट नहीं मान रही, गवर्नमेंट खुद ब खुद होके हाउस को बंद करना चाहती है।
Parliament disrupted for the fourth day in a row. Blame game over Sansad logjam continues and legislative business takes a back seat.
इतिहास में पहली बार हो रहा है कि रूलिंग पार्टी संसद नहीं चलने दे रही। क्यों नहीं चलने दे रही? क्योंकि डर है कि संसद के भीतर रिंग मास्टर गोगो का कोई नाम नहीं ले ले।
आज दुनिया ने भारत के नेतृत्व को माना है, लेकिन शायद कांग्रेस मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं, लेकिन कम से कम संसद का अपमान तो ना करे।
While Rahul Gandhi refuses to apologise, BJP digs its heels and demands Rahul must apologise.
सदन बैठते ही आधा मिनट के अंदर सदन खत्म। मोदी जी की जमाने में और एक रिकॉर्ड। मोदी जी हर चीज में प्रथम प्रथम करते हैं ना, ये भी प्रथम हो गया।
We demand his apology. Country is demanding his apology. All MPs are demanding his apology, and he should apologize, especially to the Parliament and to the country.
Coming under attack and
The BJP has accused Rahul Gandhi of vilifying India during his interaction in the UK last month. Protests and stern demands for apology have marred the Parliament for days now. And today, Rahul Gandhi appeared at the Lok Sabha for the first time since the row over his London comments erupted. Both houses met for only a few minutes before being adjourned for yet another day. The government-opposition standoff has stalled all work in the second half of the budget session. An array of union ministers have denounced Rahul Gandhi, but Congress has ruled out any apology. Now Rahul has thrown the ball to centre's court, demanding time for him to speak in the Parliament.
after 4 leaders of the BJP have made an allegation about a member of Parliament, is that member of Parliament going to be given the same space that those 4 ministers have been given, or is he going to be told to shut up? That's what the real question in front of this country is right now.
The current logjam in Parliament must end as both sides need to debate on matters of national importance. But the question is, how will the stalemate end, especially with both sides simply refusing to give up? Well, is this setting the tone and tenor for 2024? Let's talk about what this controversy is all about. It all started after Rahul Gandhi spoke in United Kingdom at the University of Cambridge about the death of democracy in India. Now, according to the BJP, the statement of the Congress MP tantamount to seeking foreign intervention on India's domestic affairs. And as expected, Rahul Gandhi has responded. Here's what he has said. In a press briefing today, he said that he has never said anything wrong in UK. He further alleged that government is just trying to divert the attention from key issues. It is further argued that he should be allowed an opportunity to speak on the floor of the House as the member of the Parliament. While the fact that 4 ministers have levelled allegations against Rahul Gandhi, according to him, that's a ground that he should be granted an equitable opportunity to respond. He further argues that it is his right as an MP and a parliamentarian to give clarification on the floor of the House, further adding that this will be a test for India's democracy. While the political slugfest continues and the BJP has come out all guns blazing against Rahul Gandhi, BJP leaders have said that Rahul Gandhi can't treat Parliament as his personal fiefdom. They further accused Rahul Gandhi that he has lied on the floor of the House and disrespected key institutions of Indian democracy. BJP calls Rahul Gandhi arrogant for not apologizing. They further argued that Prime Minister or the government can be criticized, but Indian democracy and its institutions cannot be insulted on foreign soil. And no individual, according to the BJP, can set terms and conditions for the Parliament. That's the rebuttal that came from the BJP. But the real casualty of the stalemate, as I earlier said, is the crucial legislative business of the Parliament. Let's talk about the productivity of the Parliament. Right now, if you compare it with the budget session, it's lowest since 2018. Only 10 minutes so far were spent on the legislation in Lok Sabha. Not a single minute so far has been spent on any kind of legislation when it comes to Rajya Sabha. 35 bills are pending in Parliament for the passage, for the consideration of our legislature. Out of this, 26 bills are pending in Rajya Sabha, but we saw what is happening. Adjournments one after another, with both sides digging their heels. Well, let's take this question to our guest as well, Aparajita Sarangi from the BJP, Jyoti Mani from the Congress, Mr. Rashid Kidwai, who's an author and senior journalist, Yogendra Kapoor, who's a senior economist. Thank you all. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Aparajita, coming to you first. Rahul Gandhi says that if 3 top netas or the mantris or from the government have made allegations against him, he should be allowed an opportunity to respond on the floor of the House. The Congress party continues to rake up the Adani issue, saying it's a matter of corruption and quid pro quo.
Very good evening. I would inform, or rather make Rahul Gandhi remember through you, that when he had been elected as the MP of Wayanad and had entered into the Lok Sabha on the first day, he had to swear by the Constitution of India. And the oath was, as I'm saying right now, I'm just, quoting the oath. He had said, I elected as member of the House to swear in the name of God that I will bear true allegiance to the Constitution of India and that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India and that I will faithfully discharge my duty. Now here is an MP who goes to Britain, who goes to Cambridge University in London and talks ill of the systems in India. Now, during Bharat Jodo Yatra, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, wherever the opportunity was there for him, he spoke ill of the government, he spoke ill of the Prime Minister.
Rajnaji, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you in the middle of the argument. We'll fix your audio. I think there's a problem with your mic. I'll come back to you. In the meanwhile, the points that you've raised. Jyoti Maniji.
I couldn't hear.
There's a problem with your audio and mic. We'll just fix that for her. Jyoti Maniji, I'm coming to you. Rahul Gandhi said that he has said nothing ill about the institutions of India or nothing ill about Indian democracy. Multiple issues have been raised by the opposition parties. But I ask this to you as a citizen of this country, that why is the legislative business being held hostage? There are about 3 dozen bills which are pending for some kind of consideration by the elected parliament of the day, and one adjournment after another. Isn't the opposition also to be held accountable when it comes to the constructive functioning of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha?
See, we have cooperated all along, unlike the BJP in opposition when we were in the government. See, it is the responsibility of the government to run the house smoothly when the opposition is raising a very, very important issues like corruption, crony capitalism, unemployment, a price rise, these kind of issues. When we are raising the very important issues. Government is not relenting. Government is not willing to discuss the issue in the floor of the parliament. Government is not ready to form a joint parliamentary committee on this Adani scam. So this is where actually in the worst, today the treasury benches, the ruling party MPs itself actually stalling the house for last 2-3 days, which is unheard of in the Indian parliament.
So your core demand is of a JPC. Your core demand is of a JPC. Your argument is an allegation is of crony capitalism. You know, I have experts with me on the broadcast. Yogendra Kapoor is also.
Capitalism alone, it's a scam. It's a scam.
Yes,
it is directly
crony
involved with the Prime Minister
capitalism and
himself.
allegations
That's
of quid pro quo
charge.
that you've made. What is the evidence on record? Give me evidence on record,
Corruption.
and I'll take. Give me evidence on record, and then I'll take it, to the experts as well. The argument that the BJP and many experts are making is that this is only something that has been made up by the opposition parties. There may be something wrong when it comes to a private company or a private individual, but to have these allegations, sweeping allegations of some kind of quid pro quo with the government, these are unfounded. They have no evidentiary basis. What is the basis of these allegations, ma'am?
See, Rahul Gandhi ji has actually in the floor of the parliament produced the evidence to this allegation. So many media reports have come. See, yesterday, my answer to my question, the government of India has said actually there was a DRI inquiry against Mr. Adani groups, and the inquiry is completed one issue. The other issue that regarding the Indonesia import coal import from Indonesia, that issue is still yet to be inquiry is completed. So the inquiry is completed. Then why are you keeping it for very secret? Why don't you put it in a public domain? Why don't you take action against that? We are asking. There is a DRI. Your agency, DRI itself conducted an inquiry. There is a report. There is a wrongdoing. There is a corruption. Then why you are not acting on it? It's not we are saying. There is a report of the government is there. Why don't you table it? Why don't you make it public?
In the history of modern independent India, and I don't have to go back, too much in time. During the coal scam and the 2G scam, the Supreme Court was looking into it. There was a parallel investigation that was being done by the CBI and Enforcement Directorate. The Supreme Court was involved. And then there was a demand of the Joint Parliamentary Committee that was made by the BJP, and it was constituted also. Why can't the BJP, when in power, do the same thing? Aparajita ji.
See, the government of Prime Minister Modi is highly transparent. We don't have anything to hide, no skeletons in the cupboard. The only thing is that there are 3 petitions in the Honorable Supreme Court. And Honorable Supreme Court went to the extent of constituting a 6-member expert committee. And this has been done a couple of days back. And the expert committee consists of highly qualified people. And they are on the job. They are looking into the matter. They would examine all the aspects and they would give a report. And after the report comes out, I think
interjecting you there, the Supreme Court committee is on the larger regulatory framework. You'd know about that. It's not a criminal investigation against any private individual or any private company. And arguably the government or the agencies have a right to do so.
I think all of us are trying to put a question mark on the wisdom and the credibility of the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court is there, when the matter is sub judice, it is absolutely unwise to even think of the constitution of a joint parliamentary committee. What would the joint parliamentary committee do at this juncture? In fact, let's all wait for the report. And this is a very serious matter which has taken place in London. So I think the Congress and Rahul Gandhi have to come out and apologize in the Lok Sabha first. So I think
will Rahul Gandhi apologize? And I ask this question to you rather provocatively, that the question that the BJP is raising is, and Aparajita ji said it in the first part of her argument, that when you take oath as the member of the parliament, it's a constitutional office in some sense, you in some way affirm to uphold India's sovereignty, integrity and also dignity. You can criticize the government, you can criticize the elected Prime Minister, but to say democracy is dead in India and some kind of foreign intervention should be made, is that a coherent, is that an acceptable argument? Jyotimani ji, if you can hear me.
Yeah, actually, what is the real problem for the Indian democracy? What is we are actually ashamed of the Indian when something happened in the foreign soil is when a prime minister of the country taking a friend who is a businessman against all laws, whichever the foreign trip he goes, taking with him and broker the contract. And get him the contract out of the way. There are placed on record. There is Sri Lankan government, Bangladesh government. These are placed on record in front of their own parliamentary standing committee. They have testified that Prime Minister of the India is interfere and pressurize the Sri Lankan government to get the power contract for the Adani. This is what something we should ashamed of. This is the Prime Minister job. Why Prime Minister going to foreign soil to have a good relationship, have a better foreign policy, getting business for all people, not one friend. So we are really something we are ashamed of it. This behavior of the Prime Minister, behavior of this government is something we should ashamed of it. Let's talk about that. And even before this, Prime Minister of this country has gone into all other countries like tour, like none of the Prime Ministers have spent so much money on this kind of things. Actually, he said nothing has happened in this country for 70 years. This country is like blind. This country is dark.
And then
this is the same Prime Minister who insulted the India and the Parliament in the foreign soil. Then is that correct that time? Now we haven't said such kind of things.
I've got your broader point. The allegation that the Congress party right now is making is that certain private individuals were quote unquote promoted by this government. That's your allegation. Aparajita ji, please respond.
I would emphatically say that Rahul Gandhi had absolutely no locus standi to go to the foreign soil and criticize our country. He has tarnished the image of our country. He has hurt its reputation and he has demeaned its status, and which is unacceptable. And he had enough opportunity to criticize the government, and he is very much well within his right, I would say, as an opposition leader to say whatever he wants to say against the government, but this should be within the boundaries of our country. He just cannot go to the foreign soil and start seeking interventions from Europe and America, and he just cannot say that all the institutions within the country are actually under danger. And the democracy is unsafe.
To be the devil's advocate here. To be the devil's advocate
here. We have all heard the speeches
the defense that the Congress party is putting forward is the defense that the Congress party is putting forward is that this was some kind of a metaphor that he used, and he wasn't really seeking foreign intervention. That's what the Congress party has said. I want to bring in other guests as well, Mr. Rashid Kidwai and Yogendra Kapoor. Yogendra ji, first to you. When it comes to these allegations of crony capitalism, certain corporates and individuals being benefited, or the allegation of some kind of quid pro quo or nexus between one particular individual, industry and enterprise and the government of the day, is there any evidence on record, prima facie, to even begin an investigation? I ask this to you as a subject matter expert. Yogendra ji.
See, first thing I would like to say is that we should, not jump to any conclusions on a premature level at this stage. Once the Supreme Court has constituted a committee, it has been given a particular time frame of 2 months to submit the report. The committee comprises of very eminent people who are experts in respective fields and who have complete knowledge of how the stock market moves, how the business valuations takes place. So I think we should wait for the report to be submitted to the Supreme Court by the committee, and it is only thereafter that we should come to any of the issues if they relate to any investigation parts. I am also sure that the committee members are fully empowered to take the assistance of any of the investigation agencies of India while completing their report. So the point is that at this moment and at this juncture, there is no prima facie evidence to say that there is crony capitalism or there are charges which are, apparently proved.
So in your understanding, right now, prima facie, there's no evidence, and we should wait for the Supreme Court committee to come out with what they have to say. Rashid Kidwai. Rashid ji, I'll talk to you about the political narrative. I'll go back in time a bit when it comes to the Rafale issue. the Pegasus Snoop Gate, various other controversy, the opposition parties, like they should in any democracy, have raised this issue vehemently, vociferously on the floor of the House and outside the Parliament as well. What time has told us is, if electoral record is to go by, the performance of the Congress and the BJP is to go by, that the narrative hasn't really stuck. It hasn't really reached the electorate, the manner in which the Congress party or the opposition would want it to reach. Is this another attempt to perhaps put out a picture that this government is failing on multiple counts? And in your understanding, in the run-up to 2024, will this stick?
So, I think you've raised a very pertinent point, but we must also remember, in a vibrant democracy, there is no correlation, in the sense that, of course, mandate has its own thing. But
there's a problem with Rashidji's audio. We'll just try and put the levels up. Rashidji, allow me a moment. I'll just come back to you. Aparajitaji, I want to come back to you and taking a view from you. You are the elected government of the day, and when it comes to the efficiency of the Parliament, the business of the House, the larger responsibility lies with the elected government of the day. Rahul Gandhi asked a very pertinent question. If there are 3 leaders of the BJP, senior ministers, who have made a statement against him, he should be allowed to speak on the floor of the House. Somewhere, the implicit allegation is that he's not being allowed his time as a member of the Parliament to put his side of the story.
That he's not being allowed to speak in the Parliament is far from the truth. You go to the records of the Parliament, he has always been allowed. I can very well recall the day when he had to speak on the presidential address. Instead of speaking on the points raised in the presidential address, he kept on speaking about Adani, and it was for 45 minutes, and there was pin drop silence. We all were asked to hear him. And throughout Bharat Jodo Yatra, he has been kind of, trying to tarnish the image of the government and Prime Minister Modi all through. But my point is, he does not have the right to go outside the country and spoil or rather tarnish the image of the country. And for that matter, today, I was in the Lok Sabha, I'm a member of Lok Sabha. When he came, after so many number of days, he wanted to speak. Yes, I understand, but he wanted to offer an explanation. We want apology. The nation wants apology for him because of this anti-national activity, if I can say so. And we do not want any kind of explanation from him. He has heard the sentiments of 140 crore people. And it was quite surprising that he came to the Parliament, and and I know that he has recorded only 52% attendance in the 17th Lok Sabha, whereas the national average is 79%. And as far as debates are concerned,
I can gauge very clearly from his statement that the battle lines are clearly drawn, the political narrative is set for the Congress and the BJP. I believe Mr. Rashid Kidwai...
But it's only 6% his achievement.
I believe Mr. Rashid Kidwai is back with us on the show. Mr. Kidwai, I hope I'm able to hear you this time. We were talking about the political narrative and whether it will stick, or this will be yet another failed attempt by the Congress party to put out a narrative, a political story that the opposition wants to put out, that there is some kind of scam, some kind of wrongdoing, which the government clearly denies. Mr. Kidwai.
I think in democracy, we must understand that if a narrative does not find traction, it does not mean that the issue is not valid. For instance, the Delhi High Court has given a clean chit to Mr. Rajiv Gandhi in Bofors scandal. Would the BJP accept that position at a political level, that Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, late Rajiv Gandhi, was not involved with Bofors? So these are political things. If somebody loses election or wins election, the issues are not settled. And we must understand, you see, the Parliament is a sovereign body. And where parliamentarians have a right to express, just because the matter is in court or something like that, this cannot be used as a shield. You see, there have been 11 major scandals, financial scandals in the country. Each time they were discussed and debated and deliberated upon in Parliament, in Lok Sabha. Look at what happened in Harshad Mehta case. I'm not saying this is Harshad Mehta movement. All cases were, are different in character, in every other possible way. But the fact is, the BJP kept demanding JPC. Before BJP kept demanding JPC. What has changed? See, why should an individual private, they may be innocent. I'm saying, why is it that the BJP is so determined to defend a particular individual, a particular business house?
Okay. I have last 2 minutes on the show. Aparajita ji, that question point blank to the BJP. Why is the party defending a particular individual or a company? And is the allegation of the Congress party true that this is a mere diversionary tactic? Respond to that, ma'am, please.
See, I am actually remembering 5 issues. Please allow me to list those. Pegasus, Rafale, Central Vista, reservation on the basis of economic condition, and demonetization. In all these cases, these people had gone to the Supreme Court and all of them had to bite the dust. Now here there is an issue of Adani which is pending in the Supreme Court. We are all waiting for the report of the expert committee, and let us not question the credibility and the reputation of the Supreme Court and the wisdom of the Supreme Court. Let's all have that kind of patience. We will wait, we will have the report, and whatever is right and whatever is wrong is wrong. Things will be crystal clear. That is our very clear stand on this matter. But as far as this particular incident is concerned, I think Rahul Gandhi has to offer apology to the nation on the floor of the House in the Lok Sabha, and he just cannot be given the mic just for offering explanation regarding his behavior abroad. So I think our stand is very clear, the central government stand is very clear, and I must mention that it is the combined responsibility of the Congress and the ruling dispensation to run the Parliament. So I think Congress is also responsible. If the Parliament is getting stalled, if the session is getting stalled, I think they are responsible, and they cannot absolve themselves of the responsibility. It's a matter of 2 minutes. He should come out to the Lok Sabha and he should say, I am sorry, I should not have said these things. You heard the press conference today. Nowhere did he mention that he apologized for whatever happened abroad, or he should not have said whatever he said. So I think this is the situation, and we are extremely clear about what we are saying and doing.
Is the Congress party defending the indefensible? As we just heard from your political opponent, the narrative according to them is anti-national. He shouldn't have spoken like this. He owes an apology.
See, anybody is anti-national in this country. The Honorable Prime Minister of this country, who went to foreign soil and abused India repeatedly, he is the first anti-national of this country. Let him apologize first. What Rahul Gandhi said in the foreign soil is bitter truth. The democracy in Indian democracy is under pressure. Institutions are compromised. Corruption is skyrocketing. One individual, who is Mr. Adani, Narendra Modi's friend, with his support, looting this nation right, left and center. This is the truth. Rahul Gandhi ji will speak the bitter truth ever. We will not apologize. That's our job as an opposition. We cannot say Prime Minister of the country taking a friend businessman, taking to foreign soil and get him a contract. This is shameful. This is an insult to India. We are actually speaking the truth. We will continue to speak. This is all drama tactics of BJP to hide the Adani scam.
Mr. Kidwai, you heard the Congress and you heard the BJP.
That is why they are making this drama.
It looks like that the remainder of the days of this session, leg 2 of the budget session, this is going to be a washout. This is setting the tone and tenor ahead of 2024. The political battle lines are very clearly drawn. Mr. Kidwai.
I think it takes 2 to tango, and I think the chair, that is Lok Sabha Speaker, must allow Mr. Rahul Gandhi to make a submission, and if the House is dissatisfied, then obviously a privilege motion or whatever motion is required, it can be brought in, and it has to be inside Parliament. The right to reply should be there, and if Prime Minister deems fit, he can respond. I think it will be a delightful exchange. Rahul Gandhi on one side and Prime Minister on the other side. This is what Parliament Forum is all about. You cannot prejudge. I am just saying, I am not defending Rahul Gandhi. I am saying he is offered to make a statement in Parliament. I think the chair should accept that. And of course, the government of the day would have a right to respond to it or take appropriate action. Remember, Lok Sabha acts collectively. In the past, there several things have happened. MPs have been expelled. During the emergency,
it's a very interesting point to raise, Mr. Kidwai. I'm short of time, but Aprajita ji, 30 seconds to you. There are parliamentary processes and methods that you can use against a member of parliament. If you think that a particular person has done something wrong, will you use them against Rahul Gandhi if there is actual merit in your argument?
See, I must say that Bharatiya Janata Party and its allies are very clear on one issue. We want apology from this gentleman who is a member of parliament from Wayanad. He goes abroad and speaks ill of the country.
He's not apologizing. The Congress party has said there's nothing to apologize. What will the BJP do?
Let's see how it goes.
All
but
right.
I think it is the responsibility of the Congress people to prevail upon Rahul Gandhi and
As
tell him
I earlier said, the battle lines are very
offer
clearly drawn,
apology
and it
in the
looks
Lok
like
Sabha.
that adjournments will be the order of the day for the remainder of the session as well. Aprajita Sarangi, Jyotimani, Mr. Rashid Kidwai and Yogendra Kapoor. Thank you everyone for joining us on the broadcast. Let's see how tomorrow, day 5, is going to be. To another important story of the day.